Hello, everybody, and welcome to Week 16 of the NFL season. This is Chalk Talk. We're going to break down each game. We have a big slate this week. Go game by game, give out our picks for each spread. We have a guest this week. Nick got the COVID. It's coming around. It's getting everyone before Christmas. It's like the Grinch. But we got Chris on the show. You want to introduce yourself? Just say hello.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's great to be here.
Oh yeah. So yeah, let's see if you can do better than Nick.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that hard to do better.
Too hard,
Nick.
right?
If you just hit your lock of the week this week, you'll be better than him the last. What is it? Is he like he's 0-4, right?
Yeah, he's not done well. That's for sure.
But I will say, our overall picks last week, we had Alex went 9-7, Nick and I went 10-6 each, and then Corey again keeping the hot streak alive went 11-5. So our overall picks the last, I'd say 3 weeks running, have all been, almost all had winning records every week. So, that's good. But we'll start out on the Thursday night game. Now, I just want to say in advance, with COVID news, you want to try to take advantage of lines where, honestly, I'm just going to say I think underdogs have a little bit more advantage early in the week, just because if the favorite has a bunch of injuries, that could really help the line. We saw that work out in our favor last week, but I don't know. I think there's some advantage with taking underdogs because the COVID news could, if it's any favorite, you have such a big advantage.
Yeah, no, I think you definitely would hit that right on the money there, because obviously last week the line for the Browns and Raiders game moved like
back and forth. It was like Browns favored by 3, Raiders by 3, Browns. It just went back and forth.
Yeah. So yeah, make sure if you like a game now, is there advantage of taking it now versus Friday or Saturday? Maybe, but it also puts you
at a lot of luck.
Yeah, and I'm not sure with like what FanDuel or DraftKings are doing, like with cash out options after you place a bet. Say you play
your cash out option would be bad, like because once the line changes, the cash out option adjusts.
Yeah, no, totally. I just didn't know if they were. I mean, I know they're in the business of making money. I didn't know if they'd be.
They take every dime they can.
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, we'll start out Thursday Night Football. We have the 49ers going into Tennessee. Some news could break with A.J. Brown possibly returning. Still not sure. Julio is still battling the hammy. So I don't know. There's a ton that can change with this game, COVID as well. So we'll start out with Corey with this one.
From this day on, I refuse to ever play Julio Jones in any form of anything, because he just cost me semifinals, or at least getting to the semifinals in one of my leagues, going out early with that hamstring. To be honest, he probably should just hang it up. I mean, he can't stay healthy. All he does is he just hurt the team because they think he's an option, and then he's like week to week where he's in, and even if he isn't, he's not doing anything. So if they can get AJ Brown back, which I would like to, because he is on my fantasy team, been sitting in my IR spot for a while.
Hey, we're not talking about fantasy here.
I'm just saying it helps their offense out, because Ryan Tannehill has looked lost. He's looked really lost. He's tied for first in interceptions this year with 14. Their offense is not the same without Derrick Henry. And they're kind of like, they're winning games where they're beating up on bad opponents. I mean, they just lost to Steelers. I mean, Steelers are not a good team either.
After stomping on their logo too.
No, it was a team meeting. It wasn't. They weren't.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
But I think they're trending the wrong direction. And you know what? If they keep losing here, the Colts might be able to take that top spot in the AFC South from them. It's like a 5% chance. So I mean, I don't have my hopes set very high, but they're not going the right direction. So for that, I'm taking Niners -3.5.
Alex?
Yeah. This Niners team is an absolute wagon. They're turning it on at the right time, and I think going to make the playoffs, no question here. Titans seem to be. I know they won against the Steelers last week. That Steelers team is not very good. And
They
they won.
lost.
They lost.
Sorry, yeah. That Steelers, more credit to my point here. The Steelers beat them. Steelers are not very good. Titans are playing well. I think you've got two teams trending in opposite directions.
I mean,
I'm gonna go.
49ers are playing well.
49ers are playing well.
That's what I said. Two
You said
teams.
Titans.
Did I say the Titans?
Yeah.
Jeez. Hot start. Niners playing well. Titans not playing well. I'll keep it concise. Niners -3.5.
Chris.
I gotta say, I feel like the Thursday nights games this year have been pretty crappy, but I actually think this is going to be a really good game. I know the Titans missed an opportunity last week with losing to the Steelers to clinch a playoff spot. And I know that Niners have been trending upwards. They've been looking really good, to Alex's point. I think this could be a tight game, but I think the Niners are going to take it. So I'm going to take them at 3.5 as well.
I thought you were actually going to lean towards the pick I was going to make by saying it was going to be a close game. And I do think because whenever it's Thursday night football, we've seen ugly games. It's a short week. It's usually a bad spot for especially, a West Coast team, traveling to East Coast for well, I guess it's Thursday night, but it's still a short week. I got to take the points with the Titans here. AJ Brown, if he's playing and then Julio's also playing, I mean, I know Julio's hammy, he's in and out, but even if he's a decoy on the field, that's going to really help out AJ Brown. And man, I think the 49ers are a great team, but I just have to take points on a Thursday night game with a kind of a low total at 44 at more than a field goal. I got to go with the home team on a short week. So I'm going with the Titans +3.5. Next game. Well, now we have the Christmas slate. We have, if Nick was on here, we would have had Corey, your Colts playing and your Browns and Nick's Browns playing. Well, Chris, you're a Browns fan too.
Say, what about my Brownies?
As I say, you're a Browns fan too. So, well, we'll start with you then, Chris. We have Browns going into Lambeau on Christmas. Just had their playoff hopes kind of crushed by the Raiders. What's going to happen here in Lambeau?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be a real unfortunate game for the Browns. Honestly, coming off of last week with COVID, I don't even think they know who is and who is not going to be cleared to play. So I think we're going to kind of have the same situation that we did last week. And again, that was against the Raiders. They're playing the Packers, who are, I believe, first in the NFC. Packers are rolling. I mean, they look good. This game's not going to be that close. I'm going to have to take Packers here, unfortunately. So,
yeah. I mean, Green Bay at home is a wagon. That Aaron Rodgers plays so well at home. That home field advantage in Lambeau is like nothing else. I mean, like nowhere else. It's cold weather. I understand the Browns play in cold weather as well, so it shouldn't be that much of like a shell shock for them. But
Christmas too. Everyone's going to be so hyped.
Yeah, there's just something about Lambeau Field in December that teams just cannot, stick with the Packers. And the way the Packers are playing, I know their defense didn't look as well last week against the Ravens with Huntley in, and maybe that's because Huntley's a better quarterback than everyone thought, and they didn't give him enough credit. But again, the Packers on the roll. Like Chris said, we don't know who's in or out for the Browns. I'm assuming they'll probably get most of their players back, but again, you don't know with the effects of COVID, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just taking the better team, the Super Bowl contending team, and the Green Bay Packers at home. And I think this line should probably be a little bit higher than 7.
Totally.
Alex?
Yeah, agreed, Corey. I think you see this line getting up to double digits with a lot of other teams playing the Browns the way that their COVID news has been lately. Rodgers, new front running or odds on better to win MVP. I think he's really just trying to stick it to the league this entire year after everything that's gone on off the field. Lambeau at home, Rodgers shooting for MVP. Probably see that turtleneck that he's just undefeated in, I'm pretty sure. So I'll go Packers -7 here as well.
All right. I'm going to go with the Packers as well. So we'll just make it a clean sweep. this Browns team just is not it right now. I know the COVID stuff really hurt them and their chances, and now they're lost a lot of motivation. So going into Lambeau on Christmas, that field's going to be wild. I think the Browns also had some more injuries that during that Raiders game. Like I saw Myles Garrett kind of came out. I don't know what his status is, but I saw multiple players kind of leave the game. And I doubt everyone, there was a lot of people on that COVID list. I highly doubt like all of them return. Like there's going to be some that are still key players that are going to be out. So I'm going to have to still go with the Packers at home here at -7. Next game, we have the Colts, the mighty Colts, Corey, your mighty Colts, going into Arizona to play the Cardinals. We've kind of been in a slump, but what do you think here? We have Cardinals at -1.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I know
Like
you-
watch the Colts play like the last 7 weeks. Probably not.
They've
Obviously,
played some pretty bad teams. They've had a couple good wins, but they've played some bad teams.
They're still winning in the NFL. As
Yeah.
Urban Meyer likes to say, he's playing Alabama every Sunday. So
Right.
regardless of who you're playing. And the Cardinals just came off a terrible loss to the worst team in the NFL in the Lions, who were playing a third string and fourth string running back who ran all over them. They couldn't stop the run.
Greg Reynolds is actually a pretty good running back, but that just goes into like the whole running backs don't matter thing. And that like, if you're a running back in the NFL, especially if you're younger and your legs are healthy, you're usually decent. That's why you're in the
JT
NFL.
JT matters.
No,
JT matters.
Jonathan Taylor is good.
Matters.
He's a product of the Colts offensive line, just as most running backs that perform well during the season are. They're a product of a good offensive line. And that's
Okay, so I will say that you're right in some part there, but just because you have a great, I'm telling you, the way that he runs the ball, he's a product of.
That's
a good
what
offensive
everyone
line.
says about every running back that is doing well, like McCaffrey, the way that McCaffrey runs the ball. When it was Le'Veon Bell, who's now like a nobody, like everyone, when they're in their prime, like early on, they look good, but they're behind. The Steelers had a great offensive line. He was a product of that.
Okay, well, only time will tell. Jonathan Taylor for MVP.
He's not winning MVP. I'll tell you that. We already
Oh.
talked about the game when
No.
Rodgers is winning MVP.
Just let me finish before you as a person who hates the Colts like you do, and you hate Jonathan Taylor,
don't-
like I see where you're coming from.
I don't hate Jonathan Taylor. I don't hate him, but just
Not your turn.
he's not
Not your turn.
MVP. That's
Not
all
your
I'm
turn.
saying.
Now your turn.
Okay.
Colts are going to run this ball down their throats. Bill Belichick, he's so good off a bye. He's going to take away.
He
the
is.
best
I
player.
wasn't lying about that.
Going
He
to take away the best
actually
player.
Bill Belichick
Jonathan
is good
Taylor
off of a
won us the
bye.
game, 167 yards and a touchdown, clinched the game. Going to do the same thing in Arizona. Lock of the week, Colts +1. Take it. Take it. Easy money.
Man, so I see. So the hot streak has 3 weeks in a row. That sucks that you picked this. This is when it comes to an end, Corey.
No, I haven't picked the Colts as a lock of the week this entire year. Maybe once. I can't remember, but this is easy.
Sucks that the Christmas Day is when your hot streak has to come to an end.
So PB, you're on the Cards. Let's hear it.
Oh yeah, I'm on the Cards here. The Cards have been in a slump. I think if the Cards just they're obviously better than the Lions. I know they lost to the Lions. Everyone knows they're better than the Lions. They've had some brutal losses. This team is now heavily motivated because they just had the number 1 seed stolen from them. And so they're going to be very hungry. I know Hopkins is out for the season. But we've seen this team compete and be dominant without Hopkins and with Colt McCoy in there. And we were talking about Kyler Murray as an MVP early, like halfway through. He was the lead candidate. He was looking incredible. Yes, every quarterback this year has pretty much had like a small little stint of looking bad. I think Kyler Murray that's happened the last few games. I think he's going to bounce back huge here. Edmonds is back. They pretty much are healthy besides, Hopkins. And I think that the Cardinals at home on Christmas Day Kyler's gonna have a huge day, and I think they beat the Colts. So I'm definitely taking, it's just -1 right now. I'll take the point. I'll lay the point.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me, guys. Obviously, last week with the Cardinals against the Lions, they looked horrible, but I feel like, it was kind of an outlier for them. I think the Cardinals overall are a better team here, but the Colts have been running and running in their stride. And I have to agree with Corey. I think they're going to run the ball all over these guys. Jonathan Taylor looks great. I think last week he maybe had 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, something like that.
One.
So I don't know. I'm so torn here. I think I have to go with the Colts. I think they have the momentum. I think the Cardinals overall are a better team, but I don't see them bouncing back in like that big of a way after the loss last week to the Lions. I just feel like, Kyler Murray can do anything he sets his mind to, but I just feel like the Colts are rolling in the right direction at this point. So I'm gonna have to take the Colts here at +1.
Yeah, PB, I think you're alone on this. I'm done fading the Colts. It's bit me in the butt the last couple of weeks here. They're playing determined, good football. I do think this line is a little bit closer than it would be had the Cardinals routed the Lions, given that they're at home this week. But I don't know. I think the Colts, with the way their defense is playing and the amount that they're running the ball, they're going to keep the ball out of Kyler's hands, I think, for a majority of this game, win the time of possession, and ultimately win this game. So I'll go Colts +1 as well.
My other thing is Kyler hasn't played very well as of late.
Yeah,
And
that's why I said that.
Okay. Also, has he won a primetime game in his career? Or is he becoming the new primetime Kirk?
He definitely, I'm pretty sure we'll have to go back to last year, but I'm pretty sure he won some primetime games.
I know he hasn't won this year in primetime.
He's only played like what?
So
Twice?
Kyler's career record is 21-21-1.
Yeah, that was early on his like rookie year when the Cardinals were terrible.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I don't think he's not primetime Kirk. I'll tell you that.
But the one thing the Colts are bad against is the pass. Okay, and what weapons do
He has plenty. They have plenty of weapons.
I mean?
Chase Edmonds both Edmonds and Connor catch the ball.
I think Kirk had a good game.
You
last
have
week.
Christian Kirk, receiver. AJ Green has looked all right. Rondell Moore is still a weapon that you have to worry about.
I'm just saying. You have such a vendetta against other people's
I've
teams.
been on the Colts. You act like I don't pick
usually
the Colts
see
on the
what
show.
is in
I
front
picked
of
the
you.
Browns on the show. I picked the Bears last week.
Can't see what's in front of you.
I'm looking what's in front of me, and I see a bad line, and I'm taking the Cardinals.
Colts are a top 5 NFL team right now.
Okay.
They are.
Okay. We'll see how that plays out.
Go look at the power rankings.
We'll see.
All right,
I
move
don't
on.
care about power rankings. We'll see how that plays out.
Well, let's see. I bet your power rankings have the Saints at number 1.
They don't have that. All right. Next game, we have the Lions going, or this is the Sunday games. We have Lions going into Atlanta. Is the Falcons, are they favored by 6 right now? Or is that like an early line?
On FanDuel, yeah.
Yeah. So we have the Lions favored by 6, 5.5 on DraftKings. We'll start with Chris on this one.
This may be one of their closest spreads they've had this year.
The Lions.
Mhm.
Yeah, so at least they're putting a little bit of respect on their name after beating up on the Cardinals last week. I don't know. I think the Lions are feeling good about themselves. They're coming off a great win off the Cardinals. I'm actually going to pick the Lions here over the Falcons. I don't have a lot of trust in the Falcons. Honestly, they've looked inconsistent all year. I think Detroit's coming off just a good win. They'll probably be feeling themselves next week, and I think that momentum may carry them to beat the Falcons. So I'm going to take the Lions at +6.
I think Goff is missing this game.
Is he?
He's on the COVID
Are they
list.
getting Swift back?
They might
They
be.
might
I think him and Jamal Williams are practicing.
But
It's like still up in the air.
yeah, so I guess it's something to monitor if Goff is missing, because that would probably change your pick. I mean, I'm not saying I don't even know who they're back. Wait, we might get a David Blau sighting So if David Blau is playing for the Lions, I am taking the Lions at +6.
I'm gonna stick with the Lions
Yeah.
regardless of Goff playing or not.
I like
Okay.
it, Chris. I like the
Yeah, don't let me
conviction.
persuade you. Yeah. I'm gonna take the Falcons here. Lions, 2 games they've won. They are one we did discuss last week that they are one of the best teams against the spread. I was on them last week. They covered it. They won. But I feel like after big wins or teams kind of maybe regress a little bit, and I understand. Actually, they just lost the number 1 pick, so they might want to lose this game if they wanted some help there on the defensive side of the ball with this heavy defensive draft coming up. And I think the Falcons, they have the pieces on the offensive side to, put points on the board. And I think this is a huge Cordell Patterson game. So I'm gonna take the Falcons here at home -6, just because I think they're both bad, but the Falcons are a little bit better. So
Yeah, I think the Lions had their Super Bowl last week. And I think that the public is going to see what happened last week, see the Lions had beat the arguably, we'll say, one of the best teams in the NFL now. For a period there was arguably the best team in the league, and they're going to be all over the Lions getting points. So I'm going to go the reverse here. I'm going to follow Corey and take Falcons -6 under a touchdown is, I think, pretty good here.
Yep, I'm with the Falcons here. I think it's rare that you can get a team under a touchdown against this garbage team. And so the fact that you get only -5.5 on DraftKings against the Lions at home. And yeah, this is just such a big letdown spot. This is when, out of the whole year, after the Lions come off of some big wins, this is when the public's going to back the Lions, I think, like you said. And this is when it'll just bite them. And I think the Falcons have, I think there's a big Kyle Pitts game. I think he finally scores his second touchdown and could have a big yardage game as well. But we'll see. But yeah, definitely on the Falcons. Next game, we have the Rams going into Minnesota to play the Vikings. Start with Alex on this one.
Yeah, this is going to be a good game. I don't think the Rams played all that well yesterday against the Seahawks, but those are the types of games that you want to see them winning. Kind of those like hard fought, like dirty wins, if you will. They didn't look clean the whole game, but they still won by 2 scores. I think they're with the Cardinals losing, really aiming for that NFC West here. I do think the Vikings are playing good football, but I ultimately don't think they're a playoff team. And so I'll take the Rams at a field goal -3 here.
This is a difficult one because I've been on both these teams the entire year. I think obviously the Rams have a better defense out of the two. The Vikings secondary is kind of beat up, and you could see Cook absolutely feast on this team like he does against every other team. He caught 10 catches last night for 160 something yards and 2 touchdowns again. I mean, what he's doing offensively is incredible. I think it hasn't been done since I think they said I heard today Steve Smith to lead all 3 receiving categories since 2005, which is unheard of, especially in a pass heavy league that the NFL is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's even crazier to think that he came from Eastern Washington University.
He's did you hear his post game too? These last, it's like having 2 quarterbacks on the field, dude.
It is. He's so smart.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I still think the Rams are can be a Super Bowl contending team if they just put things together here. If it really hurts without Robert Woods, and they've kind of they need a second receiving option to kind of come out of the shell. And the Vikings, they could be, I'm pretty sure they're probably getting Thielen back this week, which helps out immensely on their offensive side of the ball. Dalvin Cook's running well. The Rams defensive line is not what's used to be in the past. They give up runs to pretty good running backs, or they give up yards to running backs. Sorry. I mean, we saw with Rashad Penny last night. He had some pretty good bursts through the offensive line or the defensive line there. And I think with Dalvin, oh geez, I think with Dalvin Cook there, he might be able to burst one off. I'm gonna take. Man, this is hard. This is a really tough game. I'm gonna take the Rams here at -3, just because I think I'm gonna take the better defense. I know I say that a lot, but I just think that they pulled this one out. But I think it's gonna be a close game.
I'm going to be on the Vikings +3 here. I think you have two teams coming on off really short weeks, but the Vikings have the advantage because they played Monday, which usually that would be the shortest of weeks, but you just had the Rams play on a Tuesday. So this is like one of the shortest weeks you'll ever see in an NFL team, having to play an early game on Sunday on the road. I just think it's a really bad spot for the Rams. And I also forgot to mention when we were talking about that Browns game, they're even in a worse. They played on Tuesday and they're playing Saturday. Like that's just on top. Like that's just another reason to take the Packers. That's such a bad spot for the Browns. But yeah, I think taking the points again, this is kind of where the rest of the games where I'm going to kind of be taking, I think, a lot more underdogs. I just think with COVID news that can break, and on top of the short week, I got to go with the Vikings. And like you said, Thielen he's coming back, right?
I think so. He was questionable this week, so I think they were thinking that there was a shot that could come back. But so if he was questionable for Monday night's game, I think he's going to be playing Sunday.
Yeah, So with him coming back too, and Madison, he'll be like the RB2 or whatever. So I don't know. I just think the Vikings, I think Cooper Kupp and he could have a big game still, but I just think the Vikings, they've played close games the entire year, and to just get a field goal, I'm good with that. So I'm going to go with the Vikings. Next game we
Chris,
have what?
Don't forget about me.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris, sorry. For some reason I thought you started off, but Alex
No,
did.
you're
Go ahead,
good.
Chris.
So I believe next week the Vikings play the Packers, if I'm not mistaken. So they either need to win this week against the Rams, or they need to win next week against the Packers to make the playoffs. If I stand,
Yeah, it's a really tough road for them to make.
yeah. So they're in a tough spot, and I agree with Corey. Their defense has been a major concern. They have not looked great. And I mean, the Rams can still clinch the number 1 seed in the NFC, I believe.
Mhm.
I just think even with getting Thielen back, I know, PB, you said the Vikings have been playing close games all week. I think this game's going to be really high scoring. But I just don't think the Vikings are either going to get it done this week, because I do not think next week they can beat the Packers.
They could. Well, I think even if they beat the Rams or the Packers, they lose one of them, and then I don't know who they play their last week. I think it might be like the
Bears.
49ers.
Bears.
But they play the Bears in Chicago.
No, Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
So okay.
Yeah, so I mean they do need to win one of these two. But even if because what are they 7-7 right now?
Yeah.
Even if they finish 9-7, they can miss the playoff. So like I still think their playoff hopes are pretty much gone, but we'll see.
I agree. I mean, I think they pretty much need to win out, but at minimum, if they want a chance, I got to assume they're going to beat the Bears again, if that's their last game. But they either need to beat the Rams or the Packers to even have a shot to make the playoffs. I just don't think they're going to get it done this week against the Rams. I'm going to have to take the Rams here at -3. So,
All right. Well, next game we have the Jags versus the Jets. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time on this one. Corey.
So I guess Vegas decided not to make the Jaguars favorites anymore. I mean, they
Told you, man. I told you.
They had their shot. And yeah, I don't know why. Jeez. I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm gonna pick the Jaguars. I'm taking the Jaguars plus points. Don't know why. I do know why, because I think the Jaguars actually have a better defense than the Jets do, and I think they have I don't know. Trevor Lawrence looks bad. Zach Wilson looks bad. They're both bad teams. So just don't bet this game. Like seriously, just don't do it. But at my pick, I'm taking Jaguars +1 for whatever reason.
Alex.
Yeah, this is coin flip game of the week here. We're gonna go Jags heads, Jets tails. Google, flip this coin. Tails. All right, we're going Jets -1.
Oh,
Chris.
So I actually think the Jags have the first overall pick right now.
they do.
And if they lose this game, the Jets could possibly have the number 1 pick in the draft. So I think that's where the lens you got to be looking at, looking at this game through. Who wants that number 1 pick? But again, if you have to twist my arm, I got Robinson in my fantasy league. So I'm just going to take the Jags. I'll take the Jags.
I'm just gonna take whenever there's two teams that are just the bottom of the barrel teams playing each other. I always just take points because there's no way I could lay a point with the Jets. It's just I could never do that. So I have to just by principle take points, and I'll go with the Jags here.
Might have to make this my lock of the week.
Bet on this game. Do not bet on this game.
Yeah, I don't think it's I actually no. I did think this is it was at 1.5 temporarily, but that's when it's like prime like teaser spot because it's like, are you really going to lay 7.5 against the Jags? No, like like in low total games when you can get bad teams against another bad team at like over a touchdown is one of the best teaser spots in my opinion. So if it's to 1.5, but at 1, I wouldn't tease it to 7. So I'd only do it if it gets to 1.5. Next game, we have Giants going into Philadelphia. Eagles battling for one of the final playoff spots in the NFC. Start off with Alex.
Giants can't score points. Like they just don't know how to like.
Jake
score
from State
touchdown.
Farm might be starting.
That I don't care about. They still don't know how to score points, right? Like the rest of their team, like it doesn't really. Have these two teams played this year yet? Or are they?
Yeah, the Giants won.
Giants won.
It was like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So on top of them
Hurts
not being
looked atrocious.
yeah, on top of them not being able to score points, it's hard to beat a team twice in a year. Now the question is it 2 scores hard to beat a team? I've seen the Eagles be able to put up 24 plus in a handful of games here, and I don't think the Giants get to 14. So I'm gonna go. God, that's so many points. I'm gonna go Eagles -10 though.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm on the Eagles as well for one reason only is because they are running the ball so well right now. And when your team's running the ball, then that means the clock is running and the other team is not touching the ball. And it would be even more.
But that also means lower scoring games, and you're not putting.
Yeah, but if obviously Danny Dimes not playing, he's done for the season. Mike Glennon is absolutely terrible. So, and I will give Jake from State Farm some credit. He did come in last week and looked pretty good in with 2-minute drill. But I mean, the Cowboys were just playing prevent defense anyways. But if he gets his first start as well, rookies are so prone to turning the ball over. He has nothing to lose. I mean, he literally, it's like one of the last games of the year. He's coming in first start, and it's if he gets a win, great. But I don't think he gets a win here against the Eagles secondary. Is one of their better. Giants can't really run the ball. Their offensive line's banged up. Saquon doesn't look like Saquon. He should probably be shut down for the year as well. So I'm taking Eagles. They're rolling right now. So give me Eagles -10 at home.
Chris?
Corey, I have to disagree. I mean, I have no doubt that the Eagles are going to win this game, but a 10-point spread is where I'm really getting hung up. Like when they played before, 13-7 was the score, I believe. I believe that Hurts looked pretty good that game.
No, Hurts looked terrible.
No, that was Hurts is like worse.
He threw like 3 interceptions or something.
Well, I think for them to hit this spread, Hurts needs to play a good game. And I don't know if he's going to or not. And if it's going to be a run-oriented game for the Eagles, I don't think they're going to put up 24 plus points, as Alex said. I have no doubt the Eagles are going to win this game, but I just can't take the minus. I just can't take the 10-point spread for the Eagles. So for that reason, I'm going to take the Giants plus 10.
Yeah, I think it was actually at 10.5. Is it? Let me see. I know it's for a second, I think it was at 10.5.
If the Giants came out and announced today that Jake from State Farm is starting, what do you think that line would move?
No.
No, I do
No.
not. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it would.
I don't. I am going to be on the Giants plus 10 here. Giants already beat the Eagles. Hurts is just it's hard. It's a hard quarterback. He's a hard quarterback to like lay double-digit points, especially when he's so streaky. Like he's been a consistent rusher. Just came off a high ankle sprain. He did not run. He ran the ball, but he did not run the ball as much as he usually does. He just got a couple lucky. When he scores 2 rushing touchdowns, people think he ran the ball a ton, but he didn't run it as much as he usually does. And he looked good in the passing game, but the Washington football team is terrible against the pass. So the Giants are much, much better against the pass. I just think 10 points is way too many with a very inconsistent quarterback like Jalen Hurts. So in divisional games, second time they play usually is even closer. There's no way I'm laying double digits with Jalen Hurts as well.
He ran the ball 8 times last game.
Yeah, usually he runs it like 13 times.
I mean, he had 18 against the Saints. Last time he played against the Giants, he had 8 as well. So I think, yeah, he's obviously not
like he's so streaky of a quarterback that sometimes it's like game to game. He looks bad than good, but he was bad and good within the same game. Like he looked like he was about to be benched for Gardner Minshew in the beginning of that game. He looked terrible. Oh. Yes, he did.
The interception wasn't even his fault. The fumble, yes, okay, blame him for that. And he wasn't getting help from his targets either. There was a lot of drop passes there. So, but for the thing is though, he turned around and looked amazing in the second half. And the Eagles only have to get to 20, win by 10. And I think that their defense scores a touchdown here.
I think we see I think Saquon breaks a long one in this one. I'm going to say that. That's just like my random. I think Saquon could just bust one through here, but we'll see.
Okay.
Next game we have Bills going into New England. A little rematch here. Last time they played, the Patriots did not throw the ball once. We'll see what their game plan is here. We'll start out with Corey here.
This is a huge game, not only because this could determine who's in the playoffs and who's not in the playoffs, because
they're both going to make the playoffs.
I mean, if the Bills lose this game, they're out of the playoffs.
Okay, let's look at the Bills schedule. I think we've done this before.
Yeah,
they play the Falcons and then the Jets.
Okay. Yes, but how tight the race is right now for the AFC.
If they get to 10 wins, they're in the playoffs.
I mean, okay, well, again, we'll see. But what I'm saying is this is for the AFC East. Like if the Bills win, they now take over the AFC top seed in the AFC East. And that's essentially what this game is. Whoever wins this game wins the AFC East. And you know what? I don't think that the Patriots are going to win this game. I think we saw last week what happens when, Mac Jones gets a little, flustered early. He doesn't look as good. He looked bad in the first half against the Colts. Second half, Colts playing prevent defense. So he picked them apart a little bit here and there. The Bills need this win. I think, it does hurt that they're missing Cole Beasley for COVID. He's definitely not vaccinated. So he's definitely not playing this game. And I don't know. I like the Bills here. And I just think they're a better team, more experienced quarterback going into New England. I'm going to take them plus 2.5 here.
Alex?
Yeah, I agree with you, Corey. Bills plus 2.5 here. I'm throwing that last game out the window. Yeah. Like that's just one of those games where, what happened. And, I don't think you can lay too much stake into it in this matchup. That being said, I think the Bills are the better team still. Obviously, Pats have Belichick, so you can never count them out of anything. But with everything that's on the line this game, and I think I checked the weather just because of the last matchup here, and it looks like there might be a little rain, but it's going to be cold, but not terrible. So yeah, I think it's hard to beat a team twice in a year, regardless of what this first game looked like. So I'll go Bills plus 2.5 as well.
Yeah, this is in contention to be one of my locks of the week. But I think I have to go with another game because of how confident I am. But I'm going to go with Bills plus 2.5. I just think, second game they play, I think the Bills are the better team. And, if the Bills, that was such a weird game with the weather and the game plan, they had a perfect game plan for that game. They're not going to, I don't think they're going to be able to get away with that again. And you'll see Mac Jones having to pass the ball. And I just don't know if he has that much success doing it against this Bills defense. So yeah, I think the Bills win this. And I don't even think, I think the money line is just the bet to go. Like, you could take the 2.5, but I think I'd rather just bet the money line and get better odds. So
yeah. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah.
I'm going to be the black sheep out of the group here and take the Patriots. Again, they lost to the Colts last week, but I can't think of back-to-back weeks where the Patriots didn't have good games, 2 bad games back-to-back. I think the Bills have allowed maybe 100+ rushing yards in the past 3 out of the 4 games. I think it's going to be another big rushing game for both of them.
Is Damian Harris out, or is he going to be back?
He's carrying a questionable tag into today, so hard to say.
I'm going to put faith in Bill and the Patriots, and I think they're going to get it done. I think they're going to get it done against the Bills. So I'm taking the Patriots at minus 2.5.
I wonder when it was the last time Bill has lost multiple back-to-back games in a year.
It's not often.
It can't be many.
I mean, they've already done it once this year. But that I was just thinking about that.
Last year there was probably.
I just think the Bills I'm gonna take. But it's like not even that you're taking the -2. You're getting plus points with Josh Allen versus Mac Jones, a defense that maybe they're both very good. It's just I think the Bills have a better offense. I don't know. It is going into the Patriots Stadium, but
who I think has a good game here? Manny Sanders. I think Manny Sanders.
Back.
Yeah, I think he has a comeback game here.
No Gabriel Davis again, though.
Manny Sanders is so washed.
Well, he looked pretty good this early in the season, but yeah, Gabe Davis came alive last week.
But he's going to be out, I think.
Oh, is he?
I thought, or no, maybe he's not out. Maybe. Well, I was thinking with Manny Sanders coming back, but I don't know. Yeah, Gabe Davis. When Beasley, Sanders, Davis, and Diggs are all healthy, Sanders should be the odd one out sitting. Gabe Davis should definitely be playing over Sanders. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's fine. He's healthy. He has no.
So yeah, with Beasley out though, yeah, it'll be Sanders.
Yeah. All right. Moving on.
All right, next game we have a big game here. This could definitely, determine who could make and miss the playoffs. We have the Ravens going into Cincinnati to play the Bengals. The Bengals ripped this team apart the last time they played them. We'll see what happens. Who knows if Lamar is going to be back or not for this game, but right now you get the Bengals under a field goal. What do we think here, Corey?
Yeah, I've been beating the drum all year that I don't think this is the year the Bengals make the playoffs. They've looked good, but they still have missing pieces on that team that's going to cause them down the line here. And I think the offensive line is, we touch on it every week. It's if Joe Burrow can stay up and not on his back, he looks good. But when he's not running around and trying to make plays, he looks good. But I think this is where the Ravens. They've lost 2 games in a row now where they've gone for 2 and the very last play. And
you think that's not changing?
No. I didn't say it was changing. I'm just saying they're.
You saying their odds are flipped, probably.
Well, the odds don't you're still it's just
he's saying they're due.
I think this is if Lamar. Okay, so if Lamar's out, and I don't think Lamar's good at quarterback, and he's not a good passing quarterback. He's a good playmaker, but he's not a good quarterback. I just think this again. We touched on a spot where it's hard to beat teams back to back, or 2 times in a year, and I just think this is a spot where the Ravens, you somehow sniff out maybe not a win, but I think they at least cover here. Both teams are not, in my opinion, playoff caliber teams, just the way they are right now with injuries and on the Ravens side. And then for the Bengals, their offense is just sporadic. Either it's really good or it's really bad. And against, they put up 15 points against a pretty good Broncos defense. But again, it's like Joe Burrow didn't look that great last week. So I'm taking the Ravens here. I like the coaching better. I don't think Zach Taylor's a good coach. I think he should probably be fired. And then, division game, give me the Ravens.
Alex?
This is going to be a good one of those hard fought. Was it AFC East games?
AFC North.
AFC North. Thank you. Mixon is questionable, but that Ravens defense has been banged up all year, and with Lamar potentially not playing, I like the Bengals here at home under a field goal. I am on the opposite end of your argument here, Corey. I think the Bengals win this division and make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I've been saying it's just before the season started that the Bengals were going to be a sleeper team. They have so many weapons. This is the Jamar Chase 200-yard game the last time they played, and that was when Marlon Humphrey was there. Now they have these practice squad dudes playing, and they have to go against this arsenal of weapons that the Bengals have. The Ravens give up explosive plays, and the Bengals, more than a lot of teams in the league, deliver on these explosive plays. I think it's a bad matchup, and I think the 2.5 is like thinking Lamar is going to be back. And so even with Lamar playing, I still think I would take the Bengals minus 2.5. And if he's not, and if Lamar's out, I think this line moves definitely past a field goal. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Bengals minus 2.5 here.
Chris, what do you think?
Definitely
Chris?
whoever wins this game is going to win the AFC North for sure.
Probably, yeah.
And the Bengals have been inconsistent at time this year. I think Jamar Chase last week. I mean, how many yards did he have?
He screwed me too in my fantasy too.
Chase last week, yeah, they
Sucked.
shut him. Yeah, they shut him down.
And he's been so consistent all year.
Well,
I feel
he's one of those, like, he's a deep threat, and so he'll have like these down games. But yeah, last week was definitely one of the worst.
And I think with all the injuries to the Ravens defense, and I agree with PB, regardless of Lamar Jackson playing in this game or Tyler Huntley being their starter, I just think the Bengals have more weapons than the Ravens defense in their current state can handle. And under a field goal, I have to take the Bengals here.
Yep. All right. Next game, we have the Chargers going into Houston. Right now it's Chargers minus 9.5. Start with Chris on this one.
Yeah. I think I have to take the Chargers. I mean, they looked good last week in their overtime game against the Chiefs. I know they have, I don't think Eckler's out for this game, correct?
No, he could still play.
He could still play, is questionable.
Yeah.
If he plays, I think they definitely win this game. If he doesn't play, I still think they're going to win this game. Houston Texans, I just feel like they haven't been a great team all year. Chargers have had some really close games this year. They put up points. Their defense is decent. I think I'm going to have to take the Chargers here. So.
Yeah, this is Chargers by a landslide. I don't think this is even gonna be a close game. Texans are really bad against the run. Chargers love to run the ball. Austin Eckler, I really hope his ankle's healed. He played last week, but he didn't play that much. They kind of limited him in what he was doing. So maybe after resting for a week, he will be fully healthy for this game. He was on. I think there is some COVID news going on over
Joey Bosa, right?
Yeah, Joey Bosa is on the COVID list, but even with that being said, and unless there's like a drastic change where they start getting the COVID bug and dropping like flies, if that happens, then obviously I'd be.
Well, then this line would be Chargers minus
Yeah, it definitely.
It would be like 3.5 too, like 4.5 or whatever.
Yeah. So, but right now in the current state, Chargers, I'm taking them. This is gonna be a blowout. It's not even close.
Yeah, too much firepower on that Chargers offense for against the horrible Houston Texans defense, regardless of if Eckler plays or not. I think Herbert just goes off even more if they don't have Eckler to hand it to. And Justin Jackson didn't have a bad game. Was that last week when they were kind of splitting carries?
Yeah, I don't think Eckler really matters if he's in or out.
Yeah. I mean, I'd bump this up to like Chargers alternate spread -14. Like, I think it's a route.
I am going to be taking the points with the Texans here. This is a COVID game for me where any team that is any slight hint of dealing with COVID, I'm going to take points. And, you can always have a backdoor cover. There's times when the Chargers just kind of fall flat. We've seen it all year. They'll look incredible and then they'll just fall flat in games, and these bad teams will keep it close. Chargers are a team that have seemed to play up to competition, but they'll also at times play down to their competition. And on top of that, getting what could be a COVID bug spreading through LA, I got to take points here with the Texans at 9.5. So next game, we have the Bucks going in to Carolina. Bucks just got decimated with injuries this past game against the Saints. The Saints took care of business like I said they would. Thought the Bucks were a wagon at home, Corey. What happened there?
I mean, when you don't have your top 4 offensive
Corey,
weapons.
they weren't doing, they had like 30 yards of offense before they got injured. What are you talking about?
Okay, so at the end of the game when they needed to throw the ball in the second half, missing your
Why
top
couldn't
weapon-
Taysom had Marquez, Callaway.
You've had them all
Tre'Quan
year.
Smith. Why couldn't Brady move the ball?
Okay, they've been practicing all year together.
Okay.
Scotty Miller just came off of IR. They didn't have Perriman.
He targeted Gronk 11 times and Gronk caught the ball twice.
Okay, I said that the Saints defense played well, but it's hard to move the ball when you're missing your 4 top offensive weapons. It's stated facts. It's stated facts for the Saints when they don't.
Corey, they weren't moving the ball with the weapons.
Okay, we're not even talking about the
Okay,
Saints.
so we're talking about the Bucks now with possibly no Godwin, possibly no Evans, no Fournette. I don't know. What do we think here?
Bucks -11. Why? What could you?
It's the Panthers.
It's the Panthers.
It's -11 in a division.
Yeah.
Okay, Corey, what's your reasoning?
My reasoning?
Yeah, what's your reasoning?
Because first of all, the Panthers love to run the ball. That's what
they run it, but Cam runs a quarterback running and a running back running are a little different because we saw Taysom. We've had running quarterbacks have had success against the Bucks.
Okay, well, I'm not going to classify Cam Newton as a good running quarterback.
He's
nor am I classifying him as a quarterback in general because
he's not that good of a quarterback. I agree. I've been off Cam all year, but this is still
he should be a grocery store bagger at this point in time in his career because he's basically he's terrible. And
so you covered the Panthers being bad, but explain how Brady's moving the ball.
Antonio Brown and Gronk.
Yeah, Antonio Brown's gonna be back. Okay, Antonio Brown's gonna be back. Gronk's been good all year. He had a bad game last week. He's been in the fact is
Evans playing?
I don't know, but
I think he's questionable.
You're not letting me. Let me finish here before you you're asking me a question of
I know I was asking if Evans
was move the ball, and I'm explaining, and then you just jump in and
go
cut me off. Bucks. Okay, so give Tom Brady a week to at least practice with these Johnson, Perriman should be playing this game. Antonio Brown's gonna be back. They're going to have better, offensive, wherewithal, about what's the game plan is going to be. And even if the Bucks, Bucks score 21 points, I don't see where the Panthers are scoring points. They can't move the ball. They look bad. Cam Newton is terrible right now. I mean, Sam Darnold might be playing this game. Sam Darnold's bad. I mean, it's this team is in shambles. They're not going to, the only thing they have going for them is their defense. And I think, Brady come off a loss is going to beat this team. So that's why I'm taking -11.
Yeah, I didn't say they don't have to, they have to cover 11.
They will.
Okay. Alex.
Yeah. what is your level of Taysom did well against the Bucks? Because he went for three.
It
for
doesn't
20
have to. It was never Taysom. It was always the one I was always on thinking the Saints defense is good. Two, the Saints just always destroy Brady. They did.
I'm not talking about the Saints. I'm talking
Oh,
about
I thought you
running
were talking about
quarterbacks.
Taysom.
Running quarterbacks is what you said. Do well.
Yeah.
against
So earlier, I'm trying to find earlier. Let me go. There was other rushing quarterbacks.
because he had 33 yards on 11 carries and 154 yards on 13 completions.
So
Like, he didn't need to do a ton. Obviously, they won the game, but they put up 9 points and he had 33 yards rushing.
yeah, I wasn't more so Taysom. I was going through the other quarterbacks that have played. Like Jalen Hurts had two rushing touchdowns against the Bucks. I'm pretty sure even like I don't want to have to spend time going through
That's fine.
like
It's
every
fine.
quarterback, but
It's fine. Bucks minus 11 here. Panthers stink out loud, and the Bucks defense is good enough to shut them down. And
Josh Allen ran for 100 and a touchdown.
Okay, well,
So I was just saying, like mobile, like yes, they're very good against running backs. That's why Kamara didn't do much. But mobile quarterbacks, which I know Cam's not that good. He's a terrible passer, but he still runs the ball a little bit.
they
So
also didn't have Vita Vea for a lot of this middle of the season there. So regardless, Panthers are the Panthers, and I think the Bucks have enough defensively to cover these double digit spreads. They have for a handful of games here, and I think they do here as well at minus 11.
Chris.
Yeah, I just don't think you can bet against an angry Tom Brady after last week him throwing that tablet and everything. Again,
I was like in paradise watching that game.
yeah,
It
I feel bad for the Panthers a little bit because they do stink out loud. I think Tom Brady is going to be pissed. And regardless, I think of who's playing on the offensive side, Tampa Bay, Brady's going to make sure it gets done. So I'm going to go with the Bucks here at minus 11. I feel bad for the Panthers that they have to go up against Brady after the game that they had against the Saints.
All right. Well, I was talking about how those are in consideration for my lock of the week, but it was because I was waiting for this. It's the Panthers plus 11 is my lock of the week. I just don't understand. So we saw him put up just a fat zero against the Saints when he, for half the game, he had his full arsenal of weapons, full arsenal. He couldn't do anything. Now you take away Fournette, his favorite check down. You take away his favorite passing target, and that's Godwin, which Godwin especially is his favorite target. You take him out, like he is not happy. Evans with the hamstring might miss. So yes, you have Gronk, who at this point in his career, I still don't think he's that good. I think he benefits when Fournette's in there, when Godwin's in there. It's same with Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown was like the third receiver getting, like, everyone was worried about Evans and Godwin. Now he's the main guy. The Panthers actually have a pretty good defense. I don't know how Brady covers this. I have zero clue how he covers 11 points. I think he will also make his mistakes as well. Like if Evans really is out, my gosh, this line is so off. I think the Panthers can flat out win this game. I think Brady is going to look terrible when he finally doesn't have his like Hall of Fame, weapons at his disposal. And even that's with two Hall of Fame weapons that are past their prime in AB and Gronk. I still don't think he gets it done. Like this is going to be, I'm excited to watch this game. It's in Carolina as well. So, this is way too many points in this divisional game. Way too many points.
Where are the Panthers going to score points?
Well, the Bucks defense is not good. Like, yeah, their run defense is good, but DJ Moore, I think, could have a big game. I think Robbie Anderson could catch a long one. Cam could run the ball a little bit.
You can tell us later how much you hate the.
This is such an easy bet for me. Next game we have Bears going into Seattle. We have Seattle minus 6.5. We'll start out with the Bears fan here, Alex.
Yeah. very ugly loss last week against the Vikings. Defense actually looked pretty good though. They had only given up 10 points through like 3.5 quarters there on a good Vikings offense. I don't know. Seahawks at home. I think if the Bears were at home here, I'd take the Bears, but under a touchdown, I think I'm still going to go with Russ and the Seahawks -6.5 here. As much as I want to bet my Bears, I just can't do it this year. They're also one of the worst teams against the spread all season, so take that with a grain of salt.
I think I don't know, the Seahawks are bad. They don't know what they're doing over there, and the Bears defense is pretty good. And I think Tyler Lockett will probably be back for this game, but they're not playing for anything else anymore. Their shot was last night and they blew it. I don't know. This is hard.
Neither team's really playing for much.
Yeah, but I think that the Bears. Wait, actually, who's calling the offensive plays for the Bears? That actually
Ben Nagy. So, and they haven't said anything otherwise.
Because when Nagy wasn't calling the plays, he was doing pretty well. If I do recall, so
doing better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's looked good. Justin Fields has looked good when he's playing, and like when he's doing what he was doing at Ohio State, which was like moving around the pocket and not being a pocket passer, which the Bears like basically forcing on him, which it doesn't make any sense.
So fast, dude. I don't know why they like both of these quarterbacks are obviously Russ is at a completely different level, right?
Yeah.
Fields is very raw, still has a lot to prove, but in terms of like skill set, I think they're pretty similar guys. And you see it with the Seahawks too. Once Russ gets cooking, once he gets out of the pocket and running a little bit and moving, they do much better.
See, but the thing is, I don't know if Russ loses back-to-back game. I don't know. I'm gonna take the Bears here at +6.5. I know they're not very good against the spread. I just think this is a Bears. I think this is a very low-scoring game, and I think the Bears, cover it. I don't know. This could be a huge blowout. I don't know.
I'd honestly jump on the under here, 43.5.
Yeah. All right. That's my pick. Bears +6.5.
So happy about it too. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
No, so I agree with you guys. I think the Bears utilize Justin Fields in the entirely wrong way. Even when he does get out of the pocket, I still feel like he's a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of his performances. I also hate the Bears, and I will never ever bet on the Bears. So I'm just taking the Seahawks at what is it? -6.5.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
This is another game. I'm gonna take points based off of just I don't really lean one way. Even if there was just no COVID news that broke. So I'm going to take points. And the Seahawks just played the Rams, who had a severe COVID outbreak. And I think that could spread into Seattle. We've seen that happen earlier this. The Saints got it from Dallas. Like the teams, I don't think they test them the day they play. I think they might like clear it or something before, but then other teammates catch it and then they end up spreading it to the team they play that week. It's happened multiple times this year.
I mean, the NFL has said on record that there has been zero on-field spreading of COVID. Not one case, according
I don't believe that for a second.
I don't either, but that's what they've said on record.
They're gonna. I think they're just trying to say that to like cover themselves, but I just don't believe that. Like you have teams. One team has no cases, another team just had a whole outbreak, and then they play each other, and now the other. There's no way.
Agreed.
So the Rams had a severe outbreak, just played Seattle. I think throughout the week you might start seeing some positive cases. I'll just take points here in a game that I don't really lean. So take the Bears +6.5. Next game, we have the Broncos going into Las Vegas to play the Raiders. Start out with Corey here.
Why are the Raiders favored in this game? Can someone literally?
It's at home and divisional. They're just
no Teddy B.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock is starting.
Drew Lock starting, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think so.
Man,
that's why
I forgot he got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no more Teddy Two Gloves covering spreads.
I mean, he was doing okay this year. I mean,
Yeah, he didn't cover against the Bengals.
I mean, dude, the Raiders just played against the Browns like practice squad, and like they had no one on the field, and the
They should
Raiders,
have lost that game.
you should have lost that game. Like Nick Mullins was driving the ball. What do the Raiders like? I mean, they have a
Aaron
okay
Waller
defense.
might be back. That's pretty big for their offense.
Yeah, but they can't stop the run. And the Broncos just want to run the ball. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon are going to have a huge game. They've been that two-headed monster there
Very
in Denver has been very good of late, and I think it continues. The Raiders are not a good team. They're just they win these bad games, and I think the Broncos better defense. Raiders don't look good. Derek Carr looks bad, and I think that if the Broncos had Teddy, I'd be more excited. But I mean, Drew Lock came in. He didn't look terrible. I mean, he's looked bad his entire career, but I think they do enough to control the game on the ground, and for that reason, I'm taking the Broncos.
Alex.
Yeah. This is my lock of the week. Broncos +1. That defense. Lock.
Oh, man.
Double lock that.
Man.
Oh,
Yeah. Broncos defense is one of the best in the league. The Browns backups almost beat the Raiders last week, only allowed 16 points on a last second field goal. And it's clear that the Broncos know what they've got at running back, and they're going to utilize both of those guys all game. Horrible matchup for the Raiders on that aspect of the ball as well. I don't think we're seeing these teams that are really good defensively that can run the ball, winning games and, winning them towards the end of the year. So yeah, I'm going to go. I don't think Drew Lock has to complete more than 10 passes to win this game. And for that reason, lock of the week. Let's go. Broncos +1.
Chris.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm actually happier that Drew Lock is going to be starting this game. I actually think it gives their offense a little bit more of a ceiling than they have with Bridgewater. You can disagree or agree with me on that. But again, as you guys said, I mean, the Raiders barely beat a Browns practice squad. I don't think they're good at all. Whether Waller's back or not, if he's not back, their offense is done. Jacobs doesn't do much. I've said for years Derek Carr is not a starting quarterback. So I have to agree. I think the Broncos have this game easily, honestly. I don't see how the Raiders are going to be able to beat the Broncos defense and the run game of the Broncos. And again, I feel like Lock's a little bit better of a passer than Bridgewater, is also going to open up that run game and that pass game a little bit more. So I'm taking the Broncos as well.
Yeah, another game. I'm taking points. Raiders just played probably the team that was decimated by COVID the most, and the Browns. Definitely think not definitely, but there's a good chance that COVID could spread to the Raiders during that game. And yeah, I mean, the Raiders don't really match up well against the Broncos. I know they beat the Broncos earlier this year, but now, Bradley Chubb's back. This Broncos defense is very, very good, and they're very good against the pass. And that's what the Raiders try to do is pass. And I don't think Derek Carr has much success. So yeah, on top of that, with them, a COVID outbreak, probably on the horizon for them. I'll go ahead and take the Broncos +1. Next game, we have the Steelers going into Kansas City. We have some early COVID news already for that, but I think Kelsey's vaccinated. So with the new protocols, there's a good chance. Well, I don't know. I think there's a good chance he plays. Tyreek, do you know if anyone know if he's vaccinated?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. He might be up in the air. But they're playing in Kansas City. It's at 7.5. We'll start out with Alex.
Yeah, this is tough, strictly because of that COVID news. Prior to that, I don't know what this opened at, but I don't think it's moved a ton. I think
it opened at -10.
Okay, so the whole score there. But couple key numbers. Um, Chiefs have been covering lately without Tyreek doing a whole lot. He had a good game last week, but not like he hasn't done these. They've been getting covered too high, all year. So Tyreek hasn't really been able to take the top off of defenses like he has in the past, and they've still been winning and still been covering. Steelers are still a little bit banged up on defense there. I know their D line's getting a little healthier, which is where the Chiefs tend to struggle a little bit. It's a tough one for me, but I'm going to go with the better football team here. I'm going to go Chiefs -7.5. I think they get it done at home. So yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a spot. I don't know. The Steelers usually play pretty well in prime time.
This isn't prime time, is it?
Oh, it's not. No.
No.
Oh, I thought this was Sunday night game. My mistake. But I don't know. Steelers just came off a pretty good win. Do they do it again? No. Do they cover? That's I don't know. It's hard to think. Big Ben, the Chiefs defense is Chris Jones could probably be back this week, so that helps out in the running game where the Chiefs usually struggle the most.
That's huge for them. Chris,
yeah,
that's very big.
piece.
Yeah, so I think with that being said, unless it does come out that Tyreek and Kelsey aren't playing this game because they literally have like 75 to 85% of like the target share in Kansas City, and I'm not sure if Mecole Hardman and Pringle and whoever else is going to be playing for them. Josh Gordon could be playing.
Stop.
Right.
Josh Gordon is not it.
The Chiefs are rolling. They're one of the hotter teams right now in the NFL. Steelers aren't making the playoffs, and this is a game that I think they lose. They have to work this somehow, but I'm rolling with just the better team at the moment.
Alex, are you?
Chiefs -7.5.
Chris.
Yeah, I think this is going to be my lock of the week, guys. I just think the way the Chiefs have been looking on both sides of the ball, offense and defensively, they've been looking a lot better. This is a home game for them. I feel like the Steelers are just inconsistent, and I just don't see how the Steelers offense is going to be able to keep this game within 7.5 points, especially if Kelsey and Tyreek are going to be playing in this game. I think it's a lock for the Chiefs to cover this one. I just don't see the Steelers keeping up, with the Chiefs. And again, the Steelers had such a good game defensively last week. I don't think they're going to be able to replicate that, that kind of output back-to-back weeks. So put me down Chiefs, lock 7.5.
Lock it in.
Let's go.
Join in. I'm on the Chiefs -7.5 here. This is one where it's like I was talking about betting, with COVID news, but they're adjusters. If they're in, this line goes back to 10. So it's like this is already like adjusted. Now, I do think if Kelsey and Tyreek we're officially out right now, it would maybe be like -6.5. But I think there's more ways this line can go in your favor with news breaking. And I think like when you have these elite quarterbacks like Rodgers, Mahomes, even when they're playing with depleted weapons, they still find a way to get it done. And I think even with Mecole Hardman and Robinson, Pringle, and the two running backs, I still think they could beat the Steelers. This Steelers team is not good. Chris Jones comes back. Frank Clark, that Steelers offensive line is so bad. Like Big Ben could just be eating dirt the whole game. I would be all over the Chiefs here at -7.5.
Isn't this don't the Chiefs have Devin Bush? Or am I thinking?
Steelers have Devin Bush, I'm pretty sure.
Who? I think I wanted. There's a Steeler player on the whatever. I can't remember. I can't remember the
Bush
name.
placed on the reserve COVID list for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Oh, Melvin Ingram played for the
Ingram. Yeah.
Maybe give me a Melvin Ingram anytime touchdown score here. That's what I was looking for. But
yeah, Devin Bush was among 3 players on the
COVID
Steelers that were placed on the list. And I think the Chiefs kicker.
Harrison Butker.
Yeah. But yeah, so now we have the final two games. Sunday night football, Cowboys or Washington football team going into Dallas. I know it was kind of a close game last time. Wait, Cowboys won, right?
Cowboys
But was
won.
it
Like,
close.
I think it was 27-20.
Yeah, like they kind of came back. Yeah. Well, this time they're playing in Dallas. Start off with Chris on this one.
Yeah, I definitely think Dallas is going to win this game. I don't know if they're going to cover the spread of 10.5. I feel like they haven't been like very convincing recently. I feel like their offense is a little disjointed. And they don't really need to win this game either. So I don't know what their mindset's going to be going.
I think they have to win. Like
I don't think they
playoffs.
have to win this game.
What?
I don't think they have to win this game.
Why?
I think they're going to be fine. Like win or lose, I think they're going to be fine. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. But
yeah.
But for
terms-
playoff seating, what's their record?
The 10-4. They got
Yeah,
a
they're still
3-game lead.
competing for a number one seed.
No, I don't disagree. I don't know. I just feel like they haven't been like super convincing recently. I think they're going to win this game. I don't think they're going to cover the spread of 10.5. So I'm going to take Washington here at plus 10.5. I don't think the Cowboys are going to cover the spread. I have no doubt that they're going to win the game. I just don't think they're going to cover at 10.5.
yeah, I'm on Washington as well. I think getting everyone back, though they are coming off a short week here since they just played last night, could hurt them down the stretch in terms of fitness and fatigue. But their defense is looking pretty good. They're getting people back. Sweat played well last night. They just didn't have the offensive fire. I mean, Dan Gilbert was there for 3 days, and he was thrust into that offense. And he just what?
Dan Gilbert, Cavs owner.
Is that his name?
Garrett Gilbert.
Whatever.
Dan
Garrett.
Gilbert owns the Cavs, though. So not
It's his
far
son.
off.
Regardless of, I mean, Tyler plays. I think he looks better. They're the least competitive when he's out there, and it's a divisional game. It's a night game. The Cowboys are struggling, like Chris said. Their offense does not look good, and I think this is just a spot where I think Cowboys win, but I'm going to take the 10.5.
Yeah, agreed. Football team covers, Cowboys win for those same reasons that both of you guys covered.
I'm on the Cowboys minus 10.5 here. If you're telling me the Eagles can lay 10 against the Washington football team, even if it's Garrett Gilbert instead of Heineke, I don't think he's worth that many points to a spread as Heineke is. So the Cowboys are way better than the Eagles. There's no way that they should both be favored. I think this should be closer to 2 touchdowns. I think Dak could absolutely torch this team in this game. And yeah, coming off a super short week, this could be real ugly for Washington. Next game, final game of the week. Dolphins at Saints in the lowest total of the week, 38 points.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, you have two. I mean, obviously the Saints defense, I would say, is better, but the Dolphins defense is still, decent. And so we have this low total. Well, I'm the Saints fan, so I'll go. I'm definitely going to be on the Saints -3 here.
Whoa.
The Dolphins do not match up well against the Saints team at all. Is Waddle still going to be out, or is he going to be back?
Let's
He
see.
got put on the COVID list pretty early last week, so I'd imagine
It wasn't. Why did I think it was IR? He didn't get. So it was just COVID, right?
it was COVID. Yeah, he was one of the
Okay.
first guys last week to pop up.
So he's like the biggest difference maker. Like if Waddle was out, this is gonna be super easy because you just have a lot more on Devontae Parker and and then the Dolphins aren't that good of a running team to begin with. So you're not going to run on the Saints. And then you have forced Tua to beat the Saints with Albert Wilson. It's just not going to happen. So the Saints, on the other hand, Taysom, mobile quarterbacks just add such a different dimension to the game. And when you have Kamara and Taysom back there, it just causes a lot of problems for teams. And Taysom, he had some nice passes against the Bucs. I do think this is just going to be such a low scoring game and more of a defensive battle, but I think the Saints at home is gonna cover a field goal. Corey?
Man, PB, it's amazing how fast you change on a team. Like you were so high on the Dolphins, like every single.
Yeah, but I was
how good they
picking
are.
the right team. Like
I'm-
every time the Dolphins played, I was on the
Okay,
right
well,
side.
like I said, unless something magically happens from this past Sunday to next Monday night, and the way that the Saints,
We would have covered 3 against the Dolphins.
If-
We would have covered 8 against the Dolphins.
if the Saints offense is horrible. It is so hard to watch the Saints play.
Oh, this will be a hard game to watch.
Because they can't move the ball. Like it's mind bending. Like that, we think that. Why
You know who also couldn't move the ball? Brady.
I'm talking
Do you
about
think
your
Tua's
offense.
going to?
I think your offense is terrible.
Brady,
And-
do you know what's crazy? Brady, the whole game didn't come within. He didn't enter the red zone the entire game.
I think they did once, but
Nope, not once. Not once
I
did
think
they
they
enter
did
the red.
once.
Nope, they
Um,
didn't. It's a fact.
But your offense sucks. The Dolphins defense is pretty good. They're on the up and end. I still think the Dolphins, they're not going to make the playoffs, but I think they cover here +3. I just what I watched last
Who wins,
week.
Corey? Who wins the game?
I mean, I'd probably do alternate spread Dolphins -21 if I had to pick.
So Dolphins win this and go 8-7, and then they play the. Let's see here.
They're not making the playoffs.
I know. I just want to kind of just see it out here. So the
Yeah.
Dolphins play the Titans and then the Patriots.
Yeah, they're not
Um,
making the playoffs with their schedule. But I just think that, Dolphins are, both teams are like I said, the Saints have a good defense, and Tua could definitely struggle because I don't think Tua is a very good quarterback. But on the other side, I don't think Taysom Hill's a good quarterback. He doesn't do anything for your team. He provides zero upside for the team.
His mobile ability is upside to the team.
Okay, well, so you're playing a running back at
Who
quarterback.
gives us a better chance to win this game? Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian?
Do you guys have the number for like Thomas Morstead and play him at quarterback?
I'm just saying when you're mobile like he is, you add a different dimension that gives you opportunity.
Well, you saw what happened when a mobile quarterback played the Dolphins and Lamar Jackson, and they absolutely stopped them. So
Yeah, but they don't have an offensive line like the Saints do.
okay, you're talking about mobile quarterback, and now you're talking about the offensive line.
Yes, because they can't bring when you're in the if he wants to pass or he has a clean pocket and there's a giant hole that he runs through. Like he couldn't do that against the
Dolphins
Ravens.
+3.
What? All right,
Dolphins
Dolphins +3. Alex.
This game's gonna suck. This game's gonna be so boring.
Yeah.
they should flex this out, even though I
They
know they
should.
can't do that with Monday night. But I don't know where to go with this. With the total this low, I'll just take the points. And go Dolphins +3. I don't love it. I don't love the pick, but with this low of a total, that's kind of the only reasoning I've got in a game like this.
Oh, we also didn't have Sean Payton. That's another big thing last game against the Bucks. Just to let you know, Corey.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be a snore fest. It's going to be two defenses and whatever offense feels like putting the ball into the end zone once or twice. I do agree with PB that I do think the mobility of Hill does provide a little bit of upside for the Saints. I just don't know if it's enough. I go back and forth, but I think I'm going to take the Saints here.
There we go. All right. Well, that about does it for the run through of the spreads. Now we'll do a couple teaser picks. If there's any ones that stand out. Corey, start with you. Any teasers that stuck out to you?
Move the Bucks down from -11. And then I like almost taking the I don't know. I guess taking the Jaguars as well, moving them up. I don't think
7.5. If
Yeah.
if they're at 1.5, you mean?
Yeah, if they're at 1.5, move them up. And then Bills as well, move them up to 8.5. I think that's
Oh yeah.
another good one. So
Alex.
Yeah, so the two I jumped on yesterday, and these spreads, I think, have changed by like a half point to a point. But I put in a 6-point teaser, Packers down to -1.5, Colts up to +8. And then a 7-point teaser. I got Bills up to 9.5, Chargers and Chiefs down to -2.5.
Not bad.
Chris?
I don't have any. So
Okay. Yeah, it looks like the Packers are at -7.5 now. So getting that down to 1.5 is great. The Colts, if they went to 1.5, getting them to 7.5 would be in there, but right now at 1, I wouldn't go to 7. Let's see. Oh, the Jaguars to 7.5, if that goes to 1.5. And the Bills are one of the best. Getting from 2.5 to 8.5 is probably like that, and the Packers are probably like one of my favorites. Honestly, the Ravens, if they're 2.5 to 8.5, I like that. And I think the Chiefs from -7.5 to -1.5.
Yep.
Like that's a really good one, I think, too. And those are the ones that I think. I guess I don't know. I don't know what we picked from last week to see what the record of that was.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But that about wraps. Oh, did we have anything else that we were gonna go through?
Oh wait, no, I do. You had the Colts in your teaser.
That was one of them. I think all the other ones did
You
decent.
were just asking for a record, so for the record,
You remember the one loss, but not the wins, huh?
oh, of course.
Okay.
Anytime anyone picks against my Colts and says,
All right. You two just need to make out already and get it over with.
not
Hey,
happy.
we're talking football, things get heated, but we'll be back tomorrow for the breakdown of the DFS slate. I guess there's going to be a Saturday slate, right? On Christmas,
Yeah.
there'll be a
Yep,
Christmas,
Saturday slate
probably a
for
Millionaire
basketball.
Maker.
Yep.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that, and then that kind of got blown up last time because
Yeah.
All the
gosh,
COVID stuff.
literally everything we talked about went out the window.
Mhm.
But hopefully they don't postpone those games. That'll be a really fun slate. So we'll go over the Saturday slate and the main slate. But thank you guys for watching. Please leave a review if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music. And if you're on YouTube watching, please leave a comment. Are we going to do any giveaway this time? Right? Or are we staying
We'll save it for tomorrow.
for the DFS? Okay.
Yeah, for DFS. So like, comment,
Well,
share.
Yep. And we'll do a giveaway in tomorrow's DFS show. So tune in for that. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us, Chris.
thanks for having me, boys.